Hi everyone, and welcome to another session of Building Blocks. I'm Judy Brown from the Little Fabric Garden, and I'm here today to finish a project that I started months ago. And I don't know if you remember this, but I think it was fall, late summer, early fall. We did this 3D pinwheel little demonstration, showed you how to do this, and it's a very cute little thing, and I just love it. A couple of the girls from the guild took the pattern home and they did it, and they really liked it and made up a couple little service quilts for it with it. But it was really cute, and at the time that we finished that video, I said that I would be back and that I would show you how to put something together with this. Well, I'm sorry that it took so long, but here I am, yes, and we are going to put this thing together. I'll show you what I did, and you can do a whole bunch of different things with it, but I had some things left over from another project, and I was trying to incorporate both of them, and so that's why we are going to have what we have when we're done. So I have just one of the blocks done. And so this is the block that we are going to be working on. All right, and we have our pinwheels, and like we've got the different backgrounds. This one's got the pink background, this has got the flowered. They can all be the same, and I think I told you that before. They can all be the same, it doesn't make any difference, and it won't make any difference in putting like a little lap quilt together or a baby quilt together either. But this is what we are going to be working on. All right, and since we have these, the only thing we have to worry about is the block with the strips on it. Now, here are the strips that we are going to be working with, the flowered, the white, and the pink. If you look at these, they are just like a half. They are 2.5 by 21. And the reason for that is because these were left over from a project that I had done here at the store months ago, and I wanted to utilize these, so that's why we're going to use these. If you did this on your own, you know, you did it at home with fabrics that you were comfortable with or you had in your stash, you would have 2.5 by the width of fabric. Okay, this is just half of it because I'm just kind of showing you what we're going to be doing. All right, so first things, we are going to sew these three together. Now, remember, even with these, how short they are, with, you know, the fact that they aren't quite as long as usual, when you are sewing strips, you're going to sew one going one way, and then when you put the other one on, you're going to come the other way. Because if you don't, you end up getting a bow in, kind of looks like a J when you get done, and you definitely don't want that because you will end up losing a lot of fabric when you go to square them up. So I am going to take these first two, and I'm going to take them over to the sewing machine, and it's going to be 1/4 inch seam allowance too, and I'm going to get these two sewed together, and you know, we'll be on our way. It really shouldn't take a lot of time showing you how to do it, especially if you've got the directions for this, and if you've made some of them. All right, so here we go. It's kind of nice because it's a straight line. You really don't have to worry too much about stopping and, you know, starting again. You just have to make sure that you've got your fabrics together over here on the end, and really you don't even have to pin. You can if you want to, but with straight ones like this, I typically don't pin anymore. It probably gets me into a lot of trouble, but we'll see what happens. Okay, so I'm finishing up this, and I'm going to snip this off. And as I said, since I'm ending on this side, when I put this other one on, I'm going to start here. So I will, I'm going to put this side. I'm going to match this up here. And I could take it over to the ironing board and I could press this and get it out of the way, but I think I'll just wait and see that I don't make a mistake. Hope that I don't make a mistake, I should say. The colors on this were so bright, and I really thought it looked kind of like a baby quilt. If you put the blue in the middle, and had this as blue and had blue stripe in it, this kind of looks girly. If you put blue in there, you probably could get it to look more boyish, but this is what I had, so that's why we're using these. All right, I'm going to take it over to the ironing board and press this. Okay, so here we are, and I have pressed these, and when I pressed them, you can see on the back, I pressed out toward the color. So I didn't want the color to show through the white in the middle, so that's why I pressed them out. All right, so now we need to cut these into segments, and we are going to cut them into 6.5-inch segments. And luckily, I have a ruler that is just that. So I'm going to lay the ruler on here, and I'll be able to get 3 out of this piece. Now, if you'd had the long strips, the 42 inches, the width of fabric, you'd be able to get 6 of these 6.5-inch squares. But we're only going to be able to get 3, and I have another piece over here that I can get the other one, because as you can see here on my sample, we need 4 of those for a big block. All right, so let's get this cut. So we will be all set with what we have to do a block. As you can see, while you were gone, I got these set up and how they have to be put together. Here are the 4 that we just put together, and here are our 5 of the ones that we had already done from our last little get-together. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew the rows together and then, get the whole package together and show you what we'll be doing next. So, and it's like we do any of these others, 1/4 inch seam allowance. Now when you get to the part that has the pinwheel, you're going to feel that there's like a bump in there, and depending on how close your pinwheel is to the edge, you would want it at 1/4 inch so that you would just miss it as you were sewing. But sometimes it doesn't always work out that way. So if you sew over it, don't go getting all upset and think you have to rip it out. It's not going to be that big a deal, but it definitely happens sometimes. So I will open this up and see what happened with this. Okay, so let's see if I missed it or, ooh, I missed it. Yay. All right, so now we're going to put this one on this side. Right, and so here's the first row done, and we're going to put it there, and we're going to continue in the same way and get these rows sewed together. All right, as you can see, I got these all together and I've got them pressed. And I will show you how I press them. Because these have the, the pinwheels, it was easier, because the points of the pinwheels were there, to press these going in. Well, I didn't do such a great job, but they would be pressed in because that would make them lay flat better. So because these were going in, then the next row has to be going out. And you can see that I did that. Probably didn't do a very good job on that one either. But it won't make too much a difference when I go to sew them. And then this again would be going pressed in. And I'm not going to show you that because it's probably not good either. But now I will take this and I will put it on top. And the reason that we do the pressing in opposite directions is so that we can nest these seams together so that the seams come together and you don't have a big gap. You don't want that. You want those seams to run straight. And so that's why we do that, so you can kind of feel that nesting in there. So I'm going to stick some pins in this one because we really need the pins here. All right, so then this is going to be nested in here like this. Get a couple pins. Looks like I need some new pins. These are in bad shape. All right, lay that down. And when I get the seams pinned, then I like to just kind of put it flat, and that's how I like to do it. I'm not saying that's the way to do it. I'm just saying it's easier for me, and then it's easier for me to just stick the pins in because it's already laying flat. All right. I'm going to put that in there. You have to find what's comfortable for yourself. You know, you learn a certain way to do it. Who's ever teaching classes and whatever, they tell you the way that they've been told how to do it, but you've got to find your own way and what's comfortable for you. And many times the girls find shortcuts that work very, very well. And if you can do that, that's even better. So, you know, just because someone tells you that this is the way to do it, you've got to find your own way. Okay, so we're going to get these two sewed together. I think I'll wait until I get the other row on before I press it. All right, so it's going to be like this, and then this one will come up. And I will do the same thing. I will nest these in. And I always do the ones that are nested first. I don't know why, it's just a habit I've gotten into. And I'm not saying that that's the right way to do it. I'm saying that's the way I found that works for me the best. So I've got to try and keep the pin there. All right, let's get this one done, and then you'll be able to see the block finished. And an important thing, and I know that I've said this before, is try to keep your 1/4 inch straight. You know, try to keep sewing where you need to be. That is one of the things that can really, really hurt you in the end if you do not watch that. If you've got, you know, like one seam that's this big and then you have another one that's this big, the pieces are not going to come together. And then you're going to be pulling your hair out, and you are going to be working a lot with our good friend Jack the Ripper and ripping out those seams. All right, so here we go. We've got the block together. It measures, unfinished big block. This block comes to about 20, no, I guess it's like 19 by 19. So I'm going to press this, and then we have to put a sashing on the side, and then we have another one of these that we will put on the side. So it will be this, a sashing, and then another one of these. So give me a second, I'll be right back. All right, so here you see, this is the one that we just pressed, and we need to connect these two. And this piece of white is the sashing fabric, and it is cut at 2.5 by the width of the length or width of this piece. And I do believe it's about 19 inches or 20 inches, something like that, I think I said. So now we're going to connect this, and then we will sew it to the other piece. So I'm just going to put this away, and I am going to stick some pins in this because it's a little bit longer, and even though you don't have to worry about a whole bunch of stuff when I'm sewing this, I just want to make sure that it's okay. And really, once you get the pinwheels done, the rest of putting this together is, like easy peasy, as they say. It's really just strips and then cutting them to 6.5 and putting it together. And you can make it as big as you want to. We're just doing it 2 of the big blocks. It'll be 4 blocks all together with sashing in between. I thought that's a good size for a baby quilt, like either to lay it on top of them, or like a little lap quilt for a patient in a nursing home that likes to do some fidgeting with their hands. It gives them something to pick at, and it's a good size to do that. But if you felt the urge to make more, go ahead and you can make it any size you want. So here in front of me, you can see we have the 2 pieces. This is the one that we just did. This is the one that I had put together before. Now we're going to put these 2 together. And what would be really nice in a really good world where everything matches perfectly would be that we would be able to match these lines so that they would be exactly straight. Now I'm going to try to do that, but I don't really get too concerned if they're off a tad bit. So, and I'm going to tell you not to worry too much about it either. So what I usually do when I have something like that is that I flip it over and then I bring it this way so I can see better, since I'm not very tall and I can't see across very far, I should say. And then I fold this back. All right, so I fold it back and I try to match that up, and then I'm going to move it up a little bit, and then I'm going to try it again to see where it is. Well, it looks pretty good. Maybe move it a little bit this way. All right, and as soon as I get it where I think it needs to be, I'm going to stick a pin in there. And then we hope that it doesn't move while we are sewing. So I'm going to stick one here, and then I will go out this way. Now the rest of this I'm not worried about. I'm not worried if it's not going to be that big a deal. Well, I suppose I should worry, but I'm not going to worry. But that middle one, that middle sashing, I definitely worry about. Okay, so let me get some pins going across, and I'll keep my fingers crossed and start sewing and hope that it all works out. Certainly hope that you enjoy these. It's really fun to do them for the library. I do, really like to do them, although, I don't have one ready every week, but I do enjoy doing them. And I hope you enjoy them and that you get something and that you try them. I've had a couple people that live close by that have done things and brought it in, or they've come in and asked for the pattern to try something, and it does make me feel good when they do that. So I'm hoping that people are trying them at home and checking them out and seeing if they're any good. And if they're not, then let me know. I always worry about rewriting or, writing up what I do, that I'm so afraid I'm going to forget, something. So if you're ever sewing along and you say, hey, she forgot something here, please let us know. So here is what it looks like. And it definitely needs pressing. So I will get this pressed, and then I'm going to put a 2.5 inch side border and top and bottom border. And then that's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to put an outside border. I'm just going to put that one border on it. And after I get it quilted, then I think I'm going to use the flowered as the binding, you know, just kind of to pull it together. So I do have the pieces cut for the top and the sides and the top and the bottom, but that is all that I'm going to do. Now I do worry about how it's going to be quilted, because you definitely don't want to quilt over top of, you know, the pinwheels after you've gone through all the trouble of making them 3D. So I would say that you would, you know, get as close as you can, you know, or just kind of do this and maybe these guys and leave this block, maybe go around in the ditch around here. And, you know, like as I said, if a baby was sitting on this, they could be like picking at it or whatever. You know, like when you were little and they had the satin binding, they'd pick it up and rub it on their face and that kind of stuff. Or it could be, you know, for a patient who is, you know, struggling with dementia or whatever, and they do like to play with things in their hands, and they've got those fidget blankets. And this could just be a small thing that they could just, you know, keep their fingers moving. So it's not a hard project, and if you've got like the directions for the pinwheel, this section that we did this time has, it just is very easy, and putting it all together is simple. Now, if you didn't want to go through all this trouble of doing this, you could just use one color, maybe an opposite color, maybe a green, you know, like maybe I could have picked up a green or something and made a solid block of that. You can do a bunch of different things. I chose to do it this way because I had these left over from another project, and it was just trying to do something from stash that I had here at the store. So I hope you enjoyed this. I'm not going to sew the sides and the top and the bottom on, because they are done exactly the way we did this. So I know that you know how to do that. So you can get a pattern for this. It'll be online. You can get it at the Bradford Library, or you can stop here at the Little Fabric Garden, and you could get the rest of the pattern. The first pattern is also available at the 3 different places, and we would just absolutely love to see it if you would try it. It would make our hearts pound. Okay, thanks. See you the next time. Bye-bye.